Hey everybody, I am Luis, and this is...
Julie McGhee. Oh, are we doing last names?
Sure.
I'm Julie.
And we're here to talk about a little bit of the au pair world and the situation that is going on right now in our YouTube channel.
Yay!
Okay, can I put claps in the background?
Yes, please do. Please add like a lot of cheers, like soccer cheers and soccer songs if you need to also. Please bear with us. Obviously, we've never done this before, but we're very excited to talk about what it means to be an au pair and what it means to be a host family, and some of the challenges that go along with that, and a lot of the unknowns that happen as well. So hopefully, and please, send us questions, send us whatever. But today, like Luis said, we're going to talk about the coronavirus and ways that you can help each other as a host family and as an au pair dealing with it. It's very unprecedented. Everybody's home, kids are home. Some people are practicing social distancing. Some people are not. Some people are self-isolating. Some people are not. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges that come along with that, as well as keeping your host kids from driving you bananas.
And we do have a little bit of background to talk about this, right? Because Julie's a host mom. She's an LCC.
I was going to say, do you think we should talk about me being an LCC? I don't know. Well, I just don't. Okay, yeah.
I think so. You know why? Because then people believe us more. Because you have... Isn't it the reason though? Okay. Why are these two people talking about?
Why are we talking about? Well,
right?
Because I've been a host family for 15 years. This will be our 15th year. Luis is au pair number 10, but was also au pair number 8. So we got one of these to return. One of these. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, Luis, we've been a host family for 15 years. I've been an LCC for 10 years. So it's just... information is changing so quickly. I mean, I honestly didn't think anything was faster than an au pair Facebook group, the way that information spread. True or false, information spreads so much faster, especially with social media. It's crazy, and there's a lot of untruths out there. There's a lot of unknowns, honestly, because what is true today might not necessarily be true tomorrow, or even in 10 minutes. So it's constantly changing. I don't want to talk about rules or regulations outside of the au pair program, but just, like what certain governments are doing. Every state is going to be doing something different. And also, not only that, but every host family is going to handle things differently, and their desires and what they want to do to combat. Some have health issues, some don't. I keep touching my face. I know that. But it's very important that I think that we address this because of all the unknowns and all of the, the what ifs. I mean, we could what if ourselves to death here for the next 45 minutes or whatever. So.
But yeah, there's a lot of questions to be answered.
There's a lot. And we're probably not going to have all the answers. I really don't come here for answers. You come here for suggestions and a little bit of just a break, I guess. I mean, we're not going to sing or dance for you or anything. Cut to us singing and dancing. Okay. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. So, I know that Luis has fielded some. He's put out there into the interweb universe, answering some questions, or does anybody have any questions? And I think before we get into that, I want to make sure that everybody, host families and au pairs alike, everybody remembers to follow the State Department guidelines. Yes, this is unprecedented, but we still have guidelines to abide by. Your au pair can work no more than 10 hours on any given day, no more than 45 hours a week. Your au pair must receive 1.5 consecutive days off per week. It's a break, and trust me, they need it. Somebody just shut our door. Also, don't forget at least the 1 full weekend off per month. Now, with all of these changes in society and everything, au pair schedules will change. Luis went from a split schedule, getting the boys up to go to school and bringing them home from school, to literally when he got off the plane, school's closed. So that was fun. But so now, just trying to adapt, and the biggest part of that is communication. It's my favorite word. I say it all the time. to communicate your expectations for the changes that are happening. Now, some of you work with infants and young children that don't have to worry about your schedule being changed too much. But now your host parents are working from home, and that's going to face that's a brand new challenge that you didn't have before. So it's so important to communicate with each other and to set expectations, realistic expectations, and just to kind of, I think I've gone more from, communicate to communicate, but also make sure that you're listening. Au pairs listen to your host family's concerns, and host families listen to your au pair's concerns. These are young adults that are super far away from home, facing a worldwide pandemic, and it's scary. Some of the things going on in other countries. Make sure your au pair is keeping in contact with their natural families. I think that's super important. And not to cause panic and not to be alarmed or anything, but just kind of listen to them and see how they're feeling and what their mental state is. Anything you want to throw in there?
No, yeah. I mean, well, regarding the au pairs as well, like, just talk to your host families, tell them how you're feeling, what you're expecting for the schedule of the year, or the week, or how that schedule is affecting your day, if you're having enough rest. That's important for your work too, just to make sure that you're doing the best you can with the children and just keeping them safe. And communication is important. It is really important. So that's a great word.
It's also my favorite word. Communication.
Great.
Communication.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about natural family. We talked about communicating. Also 45 and 10. We are going to talk a little bit afterwards, after we get to some questions about what you can do. And eventually, when we upload this onto the YouTube, is it not the YouTube? It's just YouTube.
It's YouTube
technology. Yeah. I will send along a list of activities and websites and things that you and your you as a host family and au pair and host children can go to. It's exercises for the mind and the body and everything, just to kind of mix things up and see the difference that it can make. I mentioned earlier about mental health. Au pairs, being that their schedules might change so much, just take that break, take that mental break, distance yourself, not too much, but find ways that will help you reach out to other au pairs. Zoom is a great way. FaceTime is a great thing. I know WhatsApp, I think you can converse with 4 people at a time. I think I tried to do it with my group, but I would only do 4. So, whatever you can do to kind of reach out in your way. I know Netflix has you can, what are they? Netflix parties. You can watch a show on Netflix with everybody at the same time and talk about it live. There are, let's see, there's a ton, but anyway, I'm going to put all that in a document, and hopefully we can. Can I download a document onto the YouTube comment?
Yes, we can put a link for that.
Okay, we'll put a link for that. And take it away. Also, not only is this au pair mama, this is we're the Brismericans.
Oh yes.
Yes, we're Brismerican. We need shirts. Brismerican. We can all get shirts. The whole family get shirts. Brismericans.
All right.
Awesome sauce.
Great.
Okay.
Good idea.
Great idea.
All right. So we do have some questions I put on my Brazilian group.
So there's all Brazilian questions. So come at us, other countries, please.
But the good thing about it is, well, a lot of our au pairs, a lot of the au pairs from Brazil have a lot of questions because they're brand new au pairs.
Right. Luís just arrived a week ago tomorrow. He will be here a week, one full week. Right?
Yes.
Is that? Oh
yes,
my gosh,
yes.
you poor thing. I'm so glad you're a repeat. I love you so much.
So the very first question is from an au pair in New York, and she asks, how can the host family respect quarantine? Because she is very concerned, and the situation in New York is a little bit, a
little different than some areas, yeah.
And she's asking about the delivery, like if it's safe to get delivery, or like it will. Yeah, you just go to a place and pick it up, or maybe they bring it to you. So she's concerned, and apparently her host family is not as concerned as she is.
that's a very valid point, and that goes back to the make sure you're listening kind of part of the communication. And it's interesting because, I often hear it the other way around, that a host family wants to social distance or self-quarantine, and, other au pairs are not receptive to that. I get it. I really do. This is not the experience au pairs were hoping for with the whole, travel and socializing. This is nothing anybody was hoping for, honestly. This is not an experience anybody was hoping for, wanted. Nobody really knows what to do. We have not faced this situation before. We really haven't. And it's scary, and there's a lot of unknowns. Like I said, what we know right now will change in 10 minutes. I think it's really important that families and au pairs listen to each other about their concerns for the virus. Again, like Luís mentioned, this au pair has just arrived to a state that has some of the more strict rules about quarantine and social distancing, and everything is shut down. We are in North Carolina, so we're not seeing that yet. I have a feeling it's coming, but grocery stores are still open at their regular time. Things like that. Bottom line, they haven't closed our liquor stores yet, like they did in Pennsylvania. But so for an au pair to hear these restrictions and these concerns and these, requirements by the government, and for a family to be very cavalier with their, interpretation of it, or their, wanting to follow that, that's completely discretionary. I mean, that is really up to the host family how they want to do it, and whether to abide or to not abide. There are families that really want to self quarantine and and social distance. So it's really important to address that right now. It's so important to do it sooner rather than later. Also, come to your host family or your au pair with that issue, and also have a suggestion. Going to either party and having a list of demands is never a good idea. But, say, hey, for this au pair, I would really like to talk with you about, what's going on. I just arrived. I'm very scared. The area that I just left may or may not have a lot of cases. I'm worried about my family. I would really like to protect our family, as in the au pair and the host family. And here's what I'm suggesting that I can do. And then, like I said, the important part of this is the listening part, taking those concerns as very valid and very important to whether it's the host family or the au pair coming to you with those issues and concerns and questions. It's so important to address it as soon as possible, to not, to avoid, hey, this is all over now. Well, you didn't respect me 6 months ago. I'm leaving. Now I can go. I'm out of here. And that's never good, whether we're talking about quarantine or, emptying the dishwasher, whatever it is. Addressing concerns as soon as possible is it's a great way to have it not weigh you down for the next whatever. And then once the dishwasher thing happens, it's not like, well, 6 months ago, you didn't let me go outside because you were social distancing and you ruined everything for me. And, it's always fun when that happens. So again, this is not being done on purpose. These precautions that some families are taking and some au pairs are taking are not being done to upset, offend, anything directed at any specific person. This is something that's happening to everybody, not just au pairs and host families. That's happening to my kids' teachers, to my boss and my supervisor and my husband's work. Everyone is affected by this in any way, shape, or form. All the ways, whether you have an immunocompromised host family member at home here or in your home country. It's unprecedented.